Hello, Laila.
Hi, Lilou.
Oh, such a pleasure, such a blessing interviewing you today. I just love you, love you, love you, love you. I've so much enjoyed our interview in French. I have to do this video in English with you so that we can share your amazing knowledge on animals and their spiritual path. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for accepting to do this. You live in Los Angeles.
Yes.
You're French.
Yes. I mean, I'm not French,
And
I'm American born, but I was raised in France and Spain.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you're this goddess. To me, you're this goddess that speaks with animal and that understand their path. And it's amazing for us as human beings to pick your brain and your heart to understand what's going on with them and what they're going through, because they're going through a lot. Especially right now, you're in direct communication with them, with their soul. You understand their path, and you have some amazing understanding as, you know, what are the implications of that, what it means to us, and how to deepen our relationship with them. Can you explain to us in English how all this started, really, this journey? When did you realize that you were actually communicating with animals? Because you started as a flamenco dancer, and now even vets are contacting you to have information about animals. So how did all this started?
Okay, thank you. I mean, first I want to just say, for me, it's like a super pleasure to talk with you. I love it. So I just told you it's my favorite interview is with you. My favorite.
Thank you.
Everybody. It's true. So I was born in LA, but I was raised in Spain and France, and I was raised on a small island, Formentera. And it was very primitive, no electricity, no running water. And we were living on a farm. My parents were writers. My dad is a writer. He was a screenwriter. And we would stay many months at a time. And I would get the info. I would just know. I would hear, I would see, and I would know things about the animals. To me, it was completely normal. I never, ever, ever thought that it was something not usual. And then I went to French school. It was very tough, you know, I had to integrate, I didn't speak French. And that's when I realized, okay, there's stuff that's different, you know. And my parents also, they would tell me. So I had to adapt to French school and to try to make believe I was like the same. Because, you know, as a kid, yeah, to integrate. And it was always part of my life. It was just something normal and natural. In French school, I kind of kept quiet. I didn't talk about things like that. And then I became a flamenco dancer, and I toured all over, you know. Then I came to live in America with the father of my kids, who's a flamenco guitarist who lives in LA now also. Yeah. And we had a whole career as flamenco artists.
Yeah. So animals, so when did you decide, okay, this is my life mission, clearly animals are, when did it become obvious that this was it?
Yeah, well, I was a flamenco dancer. I never ever thought I would be anything else than a flamenco artist. And I started getting all these amazing spiritual experiences, like really incredible bliss and light and just unbelievable. So it's
like an awakening.
It happened.
Like you were.
It was like an awakening. And one of the first experiences happened actually in Montana, where there was a meeting with a wolf. It was incredibly powerful. I have goosebumps when I talk about it. In Yellowstone, it was years ago. And that's where, after that, I started getting, I mean, there was this encounter with this wolf that was unbelievable between me and him. And we just stood looking in each other's eyes. I was in Yellowstone, and everything kind of stopped around us. And right after that encounter, I started getting these incredible experiences of bliss and light and trances that lasted many years. And that's when, you know, being the most amazing dancer kind of lost its importance. Yeah. I didn't care. And,
wow.
And then there's so many things that happened, you know.
It was so fulfilling. It was fulfilling your soul and a whole other level.
Exactly. And then I got miraculous healings in Mexico. And then, you know, there was so many events that happened. And then one day, this lady, just out of the blue, I used to do healings for people. And then I shifted I do mainly animals. The healings are all for animals now, just once in a while, some people if they beg me. And I was working with this lady, and she just asked me out of the blue, can you tell me about my cat? You know, I have this issue with my cat, blah, blah, blah. So I told her, and that was like what's the expression in English? You know, the fire that
beginning.
She started telling all her friends, and so I started working with people in America. My first workshop was in Colorado, and then I was called to go to Europe by an American woman, Barbara, still remember, and she asked me to go to Europe to give a lecture, and then that was like, it took off in Europe like really, really very strong. Then I did the movie, the books, like you know all of that.
And now you've clearly shifted from one-on-one to traveling throughout Europe now and helping vets and all that to find solutions. So what kind of communication can you explain? So it's an intuitive communication. It's a heart to heart. It's a soul to soul. What is it like?
I think it's all of that.
Yeah.
Because I think the best way of like seeing it, there's a movie that was made for France 5, and it's dubbed in English now. It's Dans la peau des animaux, and right now the title is Connecting with Animals. And now it's dubbed in English. So the best way to really understand it is to look at the movie, because one sees, working with wild animals, and that really gives an idea of what it is. But it's everything you said, really.
Like the horse whisperer, because we all saw movies like you literally have many books actually communication with horses, and clearly those are not your favorites, because it's not like there is favorites, but we can see that there's a special connection with horses.
Yeah, I love working with horses. I mean, I did a lot. I worked with the top riders in France, Michel Robert, of jumping, and there was amazing healings for his horse. And we did a horse that was completely, his jaw was broken in two, and that was like my biggest miracle in my life. And I did a lot of communications. I worked a lot with horse riders, like top horse riders. And it's what you say. It's like you go, you access their spirit, and you just understand what's going on. So, but it's very down to earth. It's not just like mystical stuff. It's very down to earth,
Yeah. We're going to go right in their spiritual path, Laila, because this is quite special to have this conversation today with you. So they incarnate, so they choose us. They actually choose us. We think we choose animals in our life, but they choose us. They have similar wombs.
Yes, I think it depends on the animal. So animals that are very close to people, like dogs and cats, I really, really believe this. That they choose us on another level, not on this dimension, just on another level. There's a choice to come live with us. For whatever reason, it's going to bring out stuff in people. And someone can have like 5 dogs or 7 cats, and maybe only one is going to like bring out a lot of stuff for their own evolution. Maybe not all of them, but maybe not all of them. Some people work with horses and they just work with horses, and the horses are there and the person is there. It doesn't mean it's always linked to the evolution. It depends on the cases. Yeah. And so they choose us, and then they go through similar paths to incarnate. So they're here with us, and then they live a shorter lifespan. They have a shorter life. How do they relate? How do they live this relationship with us? Yes. Well, I think, for them it's very natural, because they really live in the present, in the moment. So there's no thought process about how they live it. But what's really interesting, right now, I have 20 to 25 years experience doing this, traveling all over the world, So I really saw a lot of cases. And there's things that are like amazing. For example, just like a week ago, I had a French guy call me. It's rare. Usually it's women who call me. And he was like, I can't deal with this. My dog, like major separation anxiety. The dog like completely freaking out the minute even if he's in another room. And so when I did the communication, turns out that I told him, well, there's like really strong abandonment issues in your life. What's going on? Something linked to your childhood. And I'm getting that it has to do with the father and the mother. And I said, it doesn't mean that they put you in a church, that they just dumped you in a church, but there's major abandonment issues. Turns out that, his mom died when he was 15. His father just like left, and he had to raise himself on his own, age 15. And so he had really big abandonment issues, and the dog was expressing what he had deep inside him.
Hmm.
Isn't that incredible?
Amazing.
Yeah.
They're like guides. They're like spiritual guides.
Yeah, I try to avoid the word guides, but you're right. You know, because I don't want people to like turn them into something that they're not animals. I'm trying to be careful with the wording, but they definitely help us to evolve for sure.
Yeah,
work on things.
So their mission is to help us evolve.
I really think so. I think they help us evolve, and we help them evolve. The evolution happens of consciousness, evolution of consciousness happens between us and them. It's a two-way thing. It's really a two-way thing.
Yeah. So could we say that we already had met them before? Were they only animals before, or can we say they reincarnate? Is it possible? Let's talk about reincarnation. How does that work?
Delicate subject, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but because a lot of not dog owners. This is not the right wording.
Yeah, I mean,
clearly.
Well, I say guardians because we guard their
guardians.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't own them.
Yes, we don't own them. No.
They're free souls.
Yes.
So for example, for dog guardians, they feel that their animal could be their past son or somebody that they know, or is it possible, Laila?
Okay, so I don't have the truth of anything. I'm not a big master and I don't have the truth. I'm just saying what I learned from my guides is that in general, animals reincarnate as animals. Now, I know it doesn't go with the Buddhist tradition, but that's what I learned. So it's my truth and what I learned with my guides, because that represents my truth. I think that we definitely have known animals in other lives or in other dimensions. We've connected with them, and they're souls, they're beings of light. And some are really high beings of light that come to us, and that's why there's this recognition. And others, I don't want to say high or low, but they're just other types of beings, that come to us. But definitely, we definitely evolve through them, and there's many times there's a knowledge of who they were and a recognition.
Yeah. And when they transition, when they die, what happens then? Because they need help too, as we can help human beings to transition, cat, dogs, animals it will help them to transition. I guess they could be scared of leaving Earth.
Yes. Okay, so I do a lot of animal healings for animals, and so of course I have really, really serious cases. So many times I have to bring them to the point of departure. So I'm going to just take the question of the fear. I wouldn't say they're not afraid of death at all, but there is a level of anxiety of leaving the human being that they loved and that they had so much connection with. When they do transition, we don't have to do anything anymore. This is what my guides, and I really believe in what my guides tell me. They say once they pass, that's it. Once they're at that level of passing and they're going to transition to another dimension, they have their own guides that come and take care of them. So I only bring them to the point of departure. Like I help them, I accompany them. I mean, we do healing to that point. But after that, that's it. They have their own guides that come.
Can you actually have communication with dead animals? I mean, is that the same then for beings?
Yes. So yes, that's really, really intense. So okay, when I was a kid, I used to hear spirit things, and I hated that. I didn't like that, so I kind of blocked the whole thing. But then later on in life, after the miraculous healings and all that I got for myself and all that stuff, and the spiritual experiences, I mean, there was a point where I started seeing dead animals all over the place. And I was like, what the hell is that? I would see animals walking around. Wow. And I knew they weren't alive because the way they looked, it was very ethereal. And so then I started telling people, well, by any chance, would you have, an orange cat or things like that? Wow. And it all turned out it was real. So that's when I wrote that other book, which is not in English yet. Hopefully it will be. And it's called The Animals and the Afterlife. And it's based on all the experiences.
Well, that's a great book in French. I hope it will be in America.
Hopefully get it in English. Yeah, I have to.
Because you only have one book in English, right?
Yes.
Sacred. What's the title?
It's called Psychic Communications with Animals for Health and Healing.
Yeah, I mean, we wrote so many books in France that are such a success, and captivating books, I hope, and cards, deck cards. I love your deck cards.
Oracle cards. I have to talk again to this American editor. We were talking, but then the whole thing happened with the COVID, and so that was the end of that.
Yeah.
The book on the afterlife is based on all my experiences with the other world.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of near-death experiences, and I was healed miraculously with beings of other dimensions, who are the ones who helped me to do the healings. I mean, if not, I'm nobody. I can't just do healings. So it's with them. And there's been a lot of experiences with animals with the afterlife. And now I do the consultations. I'm not saying I'm crazy about doing it, but a lot of people call me to do consultations with animals that are past and to help them. And so, yeah, I get messages.
So they get through the tunnel, through the light? Do they
Yes.
have to go through different... Can they be stuck as human beings can on different levels?
Okay, that's a really good question, Lilou. Really good question. There's very few animals that get stuck. Very few. I did get some cases, and it's the first, like the book on the afterlife, it starts with that case of these horses that were, there was a big, how do you say, when they drowned, there was a big inundation in the south of France, in the Gare, and they were stuck in the stalls and they drowned. It was horrible. And yeah, that was the horrible case.
Oh my God.
Horrible. And this man called me, he was distraught. He was just, he was ready to take his life, And he called me for this horse. And that was the only time that I got that the horse was stuck. And so I had to talk to my guides, and they said, you can't do anything, we're going to take care of it. See, me as Laila, as a human being, I can't do that. I'm not supposed to. So they took care of it, but I had that feeling of stuck. But usually I never have a feeling of stuck, ever. They go straight. They really go straight.
Good. Tell us about your guides here, because tell us about your spiritual experience and how did you get in touch? It started from your near-death experience?
I had a bunch of near-death experiences through life, but the guides, it was when I was healed miraculously. That's one aspect in Mexico. And then there's another group that's happened with that after that experience with the wolf, where, the room was filled with light, and this incredible, the experiences, the bliss, and I'm just waiting for the day that's going to come back, because I had 2 years like that, and then it stopped. Wow. So now they do come back, but I never got that level of powerful with the room filling with light and actually directly hearing and directly seeing, and that was so incredibly amazing. And I know it's going to come back at some other point in life, but right now apparently I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, though you're in communication with them right away.
Yes, I meditate, I listen to them. Sometimes I hear directly. Sometimes there's days where I hear, we want to talk to you, and the information comes down. But I have to put more effort. Before I didn't have to put any effort.
Where are they from?
Well, they don't tell me. I can't reveal this on.
That's okay.
Yeah, but it's definitely beings of light, and it's definitely linked to my lineage with Yogananda. It's linked to that. I was raised with Yogananda. And in America, people know who Yogananda is. In Europe, usually they have no idea what I'm talking about. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So how do you feel about these times right now? What's going on? And do you get special message from animals or from human beings or from what's going on really?
Yeah. I've had informations. You realize that in January, they told me everything. I didn't know it was going to be a virus. But in January, before anything happened, I remember I was in Madrid. I was in Malaga. South of Spain, for people who don't know, Andalusia. And I went to a place that I go to regularly in Malaga, and I was meditating. I got this incredibly powerful visit. And and there was kind of this asking me, what do you want to do now? Because you've done a lot. You want to come with us? You want to stay? What? What's going on? And they told me the world is going to get very difficult. I heard that 3 months ago. And I heard about the violence. They tell me stuff. But I'm not a clairvoyant. I don't consider myself any of that. But they usually say it for myself, for my personal life, or my family. We have a little while to go, from what I heard. We have a little while to go.
Right. Can we say, are beings and animals evolving right now, or animals don't really need to evolve and we're the one making the biggest jump?
Animals, they don't really need to evolve. I mean, of course, they're always everyone is in evolution. Every form of consciousness is in evolution. But really, the ones who need to evolve is us. And the ones who need to transform our relationship with animals is us. I mean, for the planet. That's why I've been traveling for the past, almost 20 years, traveling, like killing myself, really, all over Europe, talking, giving lectures. It's very tiring. But because I really believe in this, we have to reach a point where we understand that animals have consciousness. We have to.
And what does that mean if we shift our perception about animals, how they are, what they really go through? What does it mean for us in terms of our evolution? If we have that understanding, that means...
Oh, it means tremendous, because first of all, it will transform our whole relationship with the planet. Once we understand that the beings on the planet are here with us, they're sharing the planet with us, that everything is conscious, the planet we walk on is conscious, the animals are conscious, then hopefully, it's hard to keep that hope, especially nowadays, it's really tough to hang on to that hope. Yeah. But hopefully, either we're going to go into another shifting reality, like the people who understand this can experience another type of earth, yes, with another shift of consciousness, which is what I was explained. And then the other...
The new earth?
That's what I mean, what they explained to me, the beings... And I don't know, I'm not saying I have the truth in any way, but they were explaining that the understanding that everything is conscious and that animals have consciousness, we can go into another type of reality, of another earth, on another kind of, it's hard to explain it, another dimension of earth, another existence of earth, where we can shift into, and then the other ones will be in the other type of earth. But for the moment, I don't feel, I feel I'm like on this, like not very agreeable earth. With this
but I heard we would transition when we would be fully confident and have faith and not have fear anymore. This is huge, and some are already transitioning from what I heard to this new earth.
Yeah, and I know you speak with like amazing people and you get information with like incredible people. I get it more linked to animals and to my but it's definitely similar type of information from what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's close.
This is huge.
It's huge because animals is really the opening. I mean, this is really my belief. Animals are the opening to unconditional love. Yes. Because I've seen so many people who have opened their hearts and they open. And that's what we're really supposed to do. We're supposed to get this other layer of awareness.
Yeah.
We're a bit far right now.
Yeah. You in your own evolution, I mean, how do we open up to, especially right now with what's going on, and you live in Los Angeles and in the US and in France right now, the doors, I mean, everything is coming back to normal, can we say? I mean, it's not the normal because, of course, we have all shifted our perception of things, and there's things that we don't want anymore. There's things we want, and we already can see in France that changes is happening, and people are making new decisions and going towards nature and getting in deeper connection with what's truly important.
Yes, absolutely. You're so right. What your words are so. Oh my God, they're just so truthful. It's exactly that. You're wording what I'm feeling. Because, a lot of people in Europe, and I saw, I have consultations every day. So I speak to a lot of people, plus teaching. I speak to a lot of people. And you know what? Every single person has shifted their awareness in some way or another. And all of them are getting closer to the wanting a connection with nature and animals. I really noticed that. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah. Deeply, yeah.
And to going through those fears, or when there's intense fears, what is your advice right now for people?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we all went through intense fear, including me. But I mean, the only thing where I consider myself super lucky is that I have this connection with these beings. And when they come, I mean, the level of love and the level of compassion is just so like encompassing, you know, like I can't even explain. It fills your heart.
Yeah.
So it helps you to walk through the fear.
Yeah.
It helps you to walk through the fear. Because I mean, like everyone else, I mean, we all went through fear. But when you see that, I think it's just awareness that there are other dimensions. I think people need to know that. There's other dimensions, there's other realities. And if you just know that there's so much love, I mean, the level of love is one can barely fathom it. It's so powerful. I'm saying this from my experiences. It's so powerful that it helps you to walk through the fear here.
Yeah.
It just makes you aware that this is just a time frame of fear.
Yeah, and it's for our evolution. So there is actually huge gifts after this. It's really enabling us to shift even our way of being and of doing things, and even for people of doing business or communicating, and it seems like all levels are being impacted by this.
All levels, every single person I meet. I mean, even just like what you would call in brackets, you know, normal people who don't care about anything, other world, spiritual, this and that, they have transformed too. Their values, people that they change their values.
Yes.
And hopefully, I mean, obviously what I'm hoping for, what we all are hoping for, is that it's not going to be temporary. That's really something that's going to shift for real and that's going to last. Because, you know, people go back to their habits.
No, it's going back to normal, but not as it was before. Like we're having a life, you know, absolutely. But it's just different, and it's really better.
Hopefully, we hope
it's going to be better.
In Spain, you know, I'm a lot in contact in Spain because my Spanish editors are there. We speak all the time. I mean, they told me that in Spain it was really tough. You know, it was very authoritarian, like the dealing with the whole situation. Yeah. A lot of people lost a lot of things, you know, it was really intense.
Do you believe in miracles?
Completely. I mean, I'm a walking miracle.
Yeah.
I nearly died when my children were born. That was my first big miraculous experience, my first one. I was miraculously healed by a Kabbalist. I was dying. A Kabbalist from Israel. The father of my children at that point, they called him to translate from Hebrew to English, to Spanish, sorry. There was a big congress, and in that congress there was a Kabbalist, and I was healed through prayer. That was my first miracle. And after that was Mexico, and yeah, I've had many, many miracles.
What creates a miracle? What's the recipe for miracles?
I think, oh wow, that's an amazing question. I've never asked me that. That's an amazing question. Wow. You know, I think, first of all, I think there is a moment of destiny when that miracle is supposed to come to you. I think that is going to propels you into some other level, because you're never the same after a miracle. There's no way. You cannot see anything the same way. You never look at life the same way, people the same way. It changes you forever. And I think that's part of a path. That is part of your path. And just not even for myself. I've seen people who've had like healing miracles, and they had just like a normal life and things. And after the miracle, that's it. They shifted into a whole spiritual dimension. So I think it's part of destiny. And I think there's a calling inside of you. There's such an intense calling. And some people can have miracles like after an enormous depression, for example, or wishing to die. And then they have a big miracle. I think there's this calling inside that it coordinates your calling inside with something from another dimension, that it just does a big impact.
So it's about us asking too, and opening. It's a co-creation.
Yes, but it's about asking. It's not just asking. It's that level where, I mean, okay, let me see. My first, you know, I've had so many levels, but the other level, the other miracle I had, which was I was a dancer, I couldn't dance. My knees were shot, you know, and that happened in Mexico. And I remember very well what happened just before, if I can give that as an example.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was maybe 5 days before. And I spoke to God directly. And I said, you know, God, if you want me to dance, I'll dance. If you don't want me to dance, then I won't dance. You know, I don't care. Just do what you want. I let go. It was such a complete letting go. I just gave everything back, everything. And 5 days later, I was told about where to go.
Surrendering. There's this word in English that doesn't exist in French.
Yeah, it doesn't exist in French. I know. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's amazing, but it's sure something we need to work on.
They say lâcher prise, and lâcher prise is not the same word.
No, c'est pas pareil.
No.
I surrender all. I always think of Oprah Winfrey when she said, I surrender all. She had to do this.
I know, she's amazing. Yeah.
To surrender what she was going through to be, because she really wanted to be in that Spielberg movie and Color Purple. She had to surrender. So when you, can we say heal, or when you work with animals and with beings, you surrender. It's a prayer. It's a form of prayer.
Yes. I mean, all healing. I mean, first of all, I completely consider that that I don't do it. It's not even that I consider, it's that I know it. It's a fact. I don't do it. But of course, I have to put myself in that space so that I can access these other levels, so that it can work through me. I mean, my job is I have to put myself in that space, and then I still have to work for it. Because like when they gave me, I had amazing healing miracles, but it's like the carrot in front of the donkey, so that you keep going.
Yeah. When they give me wearables, give it.
I want another carrot. But on a daily basis, I don't have those amazing miracles. I have to work hard. And I was really tested to be able to do this. And I have to work hard. It's not like I can say, oh, you just do it. I'll show you the animal, you do it. No, I have to pray. I have to visualize. I have to, go into the body. I have to do a lot of, it's hard work. It's hard work.
But they tell you, so animals have this wisdom, and they can tell you, okay, this is, because when a vet is working on them, you actually, it's not just a conversation. The animal can tell you, this is the part of my body that needs healing or that needs work on, or...
No, the animal doesn't tell you that. I perceive from the animal.
Yeah.
They're not vets, the animals. They're not doctors. They're not vets. So they're not going to say, oh, well, this needs this and this and that. They have no idea. But they are very aware of their body. Yeah. I mean, they know exactly what's going on. When something's not going well, they know it. They're just not going to put a name on it. And they're not going to say, oh, it's my liver. They don't know where it is. But they know exactly how sick they are, the level of illness that they have. They know when they're about to pass. They know. They're very, very conscious. And we think, we have no idea as human beings. We think they don't know anything. It's not true. But they don't communicate that to us in words. It's up to the communicator to feel how they're feeling and to grasp their awareness of their illness.
Yeah. So it's like a combination of the light beings that help you and the animal. And with your work and all of this, you're able to share.
I perceive from the animal what's going on. Because they can't tell me, they're not vets. But the combination of the things, for example, I work a lot with human vets. And we collaborate a lot. I work with vets in America, in Spain, in France. So I have a few vets around the world that we work with. And it's a blessing to be able to do that. It's fantastic.
And are they more receptive to energy work?
The vets in general?
Than us. No, are animals more receptive to energy work and energy healing, as we can have healing sessions? Are they more receptive to it, less in their brain, as sometimes how we block it? I mean,
completely. They're completely more receptive. Yeah, they definitely are. But there's a lot of things with illness. There's so many things that are linked to genetic, toxic environments, nutrition. I won't talk about other things because I'm not a vet, so I won't talk about them. But there's already the whole physical level of things. Then there is also, I'm not saying it makes them sick at all, but there is the emotions of human beings. So it doesn't make them sick, but it adds another level of stress, perhaps. Yeah. There's a lot of levels. And some animals are not supposed to stay long. Some animals, people are very upset because they lived maybe 5 years. And they say, it's so unfair. Why did they die? And I don't understand. And that's the way it is. Some animals are just not supposed to stay long. They come short period. They bring us their light, and then they go.
They have a specific mission and they go. Like human beings, we go when our mission is done.
Exactly.
It's a bit scary.
Yeah. I think it's the soul that chooses, from what they explained to me upstairs there. It's the soul that decides. And they say you have the choice. You have the choice to leave or to stay.
Like right now, you're in communication with them.
Right now, while we're talking, or in general?
Yeah, right now.
Well, there's a few things going on.
Here. Is there a specific message, information, Laila, that you want to share within this interview that you think is, or that they're telling you that is important to share right now? Because, you know, as you know, this video will go all around English speakers, whether it's in Europe or in the US or in Australia, in Holland, all over the place. So is there a message that you want to share?
I think the biggest message that, at least what they always say, take care of building your own consciousness. Take care of your own awareness, take care of your own consciousness, especially because we can't control the things that are going on in the world right now. As you know, we feel helpless, which is one of the reasons why it was so difficult, because everyone feels helpless. Take care of your own awareness, or your own connection, your own consciousness. And the other message that I could really, really say is I really feel it's important for people to connect with their own guidance at this time. Everyone has, because we live in a period of complete confusion. No one knows where the truth is. No one understands what's going on. Even with animals, people say the animal said this, the animal said that, and I believe they don't. They're not going around giving these like mystical messages. They just want to live. We're the ones who made the mess on this planet, and we're the ones who messed up the planet and our animals. We're the ones who have to repair it, and we have to repair it with evolving our own consciousness and connecting to our own guidance, because everyone has it.
Yeah, we have to create now from a new level of consciousness, not with the same one as before.
Exactly.
Does it mean increasing our frequencies as well?
Absolutely, but that it can only be reached by this inner work, you know, this accessing. And it doesn't mean people have to sit for 50 hours in meditation. I mean, they could go walk in the forest or go walk on the beach, but it's just this awareness of being, of accessing your inner guidance, the truth, accessing this truth, because truth goes with love, to me.
Yeah,
they go together. You can't. I mean, you know, really. Wow, one of the first experiences I had when I received these amazing presences of light, you know, with the amazing love, it was bliss, it was love, it was ecstasy. I can't even put words to it. But what was amazing is that linked to love, there was truth.
Yes.
It's very hard to put in words. There was truth. And now everyone is searching for truth because no one knows what's going on.
Yes. So let's follow our heart.
Yeah, I think increasing our own awareness. And of course, nature and animals, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, in France, a lot of women are working on their sacred feminine. Like, it's like the whole hot thing, and just like rituals, and let's let the goddess out, and let's speak to goddesses, and let's connect on the different levels. And I think you just do represent that, Laila. For me, you represent the sacred feminine, like you incarnate that. And I wish it's so great for me to interview you, because it's through your vibration and through this interview, women can see what it can be like. I mean, and so do you have an advice for, I mean, you're probably first you're probably excited that women are accessing that right now.
Yes.
And wanting to.
Wow, that's so great.
Yes,
that's so great. Yeah, there's a lot of shifts. I mean, really, from especially in Europe, I really saw the changes from when I started over there, which was like 20 to 25 years ago. I mean, much more powerful. The women are stronger, more powerful. They're more in touch with their emotions, their feelings, and their intuition. Definitely, there's a shift.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And to connect with that, connect with the divine within us. I mean, it's an experience, right? The sacred feminine is an experience. It's not.
It is.
It's not here.
Yeah. I think it's that level of trust that they have to reach. That level of trust in who they inside, and accessing that inside. You know, because the inside is directly connected to the. I'm always talking of other dimensions, but it's still all inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just accessing that.
Yes, we have it all.
Yeah, everyone has it.
Yes.
Everyone has it, you know.
Beautiful. It's such a blessing. I know we went beyond the animals, but it's part of this conversation, because they're truly
that's what I
guiding
love.
us to the next. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I love when we do interviews with you, is that we always go, wow, way beyond everything. I love it.
Wherever it's taking us, there is special energy here. So whatever feels right. And thank you for dancing here so well. But I know you could, because it's the same in an interview. It's like a dance, and you have to be two, you know, and even more. But at least two open-hearted people, and then it's really amazing. So thank you so much for this interview, Laila. And if you have enjoyed this interview, please share it wildly all around the internet and to your friends, and because these are the kind of message that uplifts us and that upgrade our vibrations, and that allows us to live and see bigger. So there's amazing opportunities right now for all of us to shift our way of being and of doing things, and of embracing new thoughts, and just manifesting also as we never did before. Things are, I feel this is a turning point, and also it's being distributed differently now. So it's like in a role play, you know, in a like kind of like in a film, the roles are being distributed differently right now. So
absolutely,
let's have faith.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Laila. Big kiss to you. Much love. Looking forward being able to hug you and seeing you in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, Lilou. Thank you.
Much love. Bye.
Bye-bye.